open up a new project, click new. You don't have to do that. I just had to do that so you could hear me. All right. Only thing that we have showing right now is the channel rack. This video is going to go over sampling with a pretty challenging sample. You're not going to need to do all of this, but in the event that you run into a situation where it requires it, now you will know. Let me turn my vocal down. Okay. In order to make your life easier, configure an extra folder. This will be the folder where you drop all your drum loops or where you chop up your samples and save them. So the way that you do that is you click on this here icon with the folder and the little sound waves, and you right click on browser options and you click configure extra folders under the content tab. Now I already have one set up, so I'm gonna point to that same folder. Okay, well, it's not allowing me to get rid of this because I already configured it, but I'll show you how to configure it yourself. So click configure extra folders, click here, and it can be anywhere. It can be on your desktop, it could be in your downloads folder. I recommend putting it in a folder on your desktop or having it on a flash drive or external hard drive. In my case, mine is actually on my external hard drive, so I'm going to click computer and click alpha because that's the name of it. That's my F drive. I'm going to go down to where all my sounds are located. So back up external. And it's going to be my OSYM, my awesome instruments folder. Bam. Okay. So inside of this folder, I already have a bunch of drums and synthesizers and packs and all sorts of stuff like that. I had a sample picked out already. It was this one. So bubblegum machine. So I'm gonna rename this BGM for bubblegum machine. I'm gonna put it on track 5, and you can also change track 5 like over here. But the track 5 is gonna make it so that sound comes out of my mixer on track 5. So if I click this here, it'll be showing on track 5 there. Alright, so I'm gonna use Slice X to chop up this sample since it's already small. I would recommend getting a general area of your sample via Edison, which I can show you as well. Let's do that first. You would right click on the sound and you would highlight the section that you were going to sample. So I was going to not use this one because you always want to start your sample from the 1. So if I stop this, one, two, three. The 1 starts around here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll just go here, highlight this section, and you could zoom in by holding and scrolling while you hold. I'm just gonna get this a little closer to that one spot. Not super nitpicky right now because I'm gonna throw it into Slice X anyway, but take this section here, put a marker there, put a marker at the end, and right click it. Oh, this isn't Slice X, so it functions a little differently. Let's play it. So highlight between the markers and then drag that over here. So we'll put that on 7 and rename that BGM2. I just did that to show you how to do it in Edison. To me, you save yourself the extra step by just doing it in Slice X, but it's your world. Do what you wish. So I'm going to drag this sample, the original, into slice X. I'm going to rename it PGM slice. Okay. Let's close this out. If you want to move the channel rack, you can. If you want to close the browser, you can too, just to have more space. I guess I'll close the channel rack too. Oh, and if you have issues with this popping up on your screen entirely, just click detached. So you want to right click this corner and click detached, and then you're free to move it around your screen. For me, it was just a problem because my computer doesn't have good screen resolution. It's not full HD, so these programs and plugins were typically mapped for HD, so that's why I need to use detached. But you can use it too if your screen doesn't allow you to do all of this. This is what it moves like with detached. This is what it moves like without detached. You can't see it all the way. So I'm going to detach it, bring it up. And I want to get rid of all these markers and make my own, so I'm going to highlight just by dragging, just like a word processor, and click this flag option and click delete. Alright, they're all gone. Now I don't want my marker to start here because this little section right here is just the hit at the end of the fourth previous bar. So I'm going to move this over to here and click play so I can hear and figure out where I want to put the other markers. One right there. And the reason I want to put those there, the reason I want to put those there is because that's a 4 count. So if I start from here, right click to play your marker, 2, 3, 4. Let's loop it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can zoom in. Make sure that you put your marker on a 0 cross point. Get rid of that pop. I don't know if you hear it at the end, right there. And it's there because I haven't edited the other side yet. So let's zoom in. Make sure we're starting at a 0 cross. We're right next to it. See? The 0 cross point is right there where it's where the dots are pretty close to flat, if not flat. So let's move over, let's zoom out so we can see where we're ending. Make sure that this section here is also on a 0 cross point. And that pop's gonna disappear, watch, as soon as I find the end here. Okay, the 0 cross point's right there. See how the pop disappeared? Now I want to get this just right. Alright, let's zoom out and fix the others. Just need to fix the pop over here because this already starts on a 0 cross. Gone. Sweet. Let's fix the next one. Now right clicking, when you right click, it'll play everything in between the two markers. So that makes sure that your samples are clean. Loop that and move this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little early. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure that you're always counting when you're sampling so that you know that your samples are clean. And they always want to be multiples of 4. You can be 4, 8, 16, whatever. It's easier to operate within the 4 to 16 range. You start getting to 32 and 64, you're gonna want to pull your hair out. So keep your chops a little smaller. Okay. And I know that 4 is not gonna be a full 4 hits. If you just eyeball it, it's smaller than the others, and that's why this is a challenging sample, because I'm actually going to take the 4th beat of this bar right here, and I'm going to line it up with this one to fill in for all the space that's missing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's loop that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. That's not a full 4. You can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can actually start this at the 0 for us. Alright. So, now that we got that, we're gonna right click. Let's bring our channel rack back. Actually, we could throw these onto the playlist if we wanted to. Okay, that's the playlist. Right click and click on this button here to drag it. You can put it up here. Right click. And every time you add a sound to the playlist, it actually creates a new sound within the channel rack. So I'm going to have to rename all these chops, these marker sample sections. Okay, so 1 through 3 are all about the same length. 4 is the one that we're going to have to toy around with. Okay, so we got all 4 of these in here. You want to make sure they're all flush to the start point here, or else you'll run into some issues later on. Okay, let's open up the channel rack. These are the 4, so we're gonna solo them to see which ones are which. Let's click song. That's how we listen to the stuff in the playlist. So I'm gonna hit play here. So that's this one. So I'm gonna click on it. I'm going to switch this over to resample. Actually, I'm going to switch it over to stretch. I'm going to right click the time knob and click auto detect. Now I know that this is 4 bars. It's going to read as more than 4, but we counted it out to 4, so we know that that's what it is. So type in 4. Okay, see how it fits perfectly in there. If I were to zoom in, it would give you these lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna do that for the others. Stretch, right click this time knob, auto detect, type in beats, 4. And 3, we're gonna stretch, right click, auto detect, type in beats, 4. Okay, now we know that the 4th one actually isn't 4 bars because that's not what we counted out when we were in SliceX. So we're gonna make this 3.5 because we know it's not a full 4. I'm gonna click stretch here, auto detect, type in beats. We're gonna go 3.5, enter. Okay, so now These should all play out. And they're linked to the BPM since we made sure that they're 4 bars, so I can slow this down and it'll still be 4 bars. Still 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the original tempo was somewhere around 97. So we'll stop there. Okay, now I'm going to select this chop tool here. The slice tool, I believe they call it. Yeah, slice. And I'm gonna highlight all of these and I'm gonna cut from that 4th beat. Oops. Before you cut, make sure that your magnet is turned to line. This is your grid, so these are all the different beats and bars that you can do within that grid. So I'm going to click line and make sure I'm on that 4th. See, there's 16 beats inside of this 1 bar. Okay. And then highlight those and shift and drop them here. Now I'm gonna delete all of these cuts because I want this to move as one, because if I do this they're not gonna move together. So I'm gonna highlight, delete them, highlight, and stretch them back to that 4 that they were. If you go beyond that, there's no sound because we have these sounds squeezed into that 4 bars. Okay, I'm gonna mute all of these and I'm gonna turn on beat 4 and I'm gonna pull this back just a hair so that it's a clean 3 plus these new additions here. So let's try these out. Let's unhighlight this, press stop, try those out. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna do the same with this one, see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Now when I do this, I'm hearing this snare, so after I make the selection, I'm actually gonna do a little bit to clean it up a little more. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna go with this first one. I'm gonna delete these other 2. Okay, now I'm gonna pull this up to right here and I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna put this on this grid onto none. Since everything is squeezed and it's tight, I can expose as much of these samples as I want to, and they'll stay the same length. So I'm just gonna move that back and move this forward and see how that plays now. It does a little weird thing. I just want to get it right before that hits. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and put this back online. Zoom out. Put this one in the 4th position. Can't remember if I said it, but I'm going to upload this sample so you can toy with it if you want. The original one, so you can chop it up just as I have here in this video. Okay, and let's play it back. There we go. So that's how you sample that, and you can chop that up into pieces if you want. I think we'll go ahead and do that in the next video. I'm even gonna probably throw that into Slice X as well. So that's the end of video 1. Please check out video 2 next.